All right, Nathan, that's it. Get the hook out.
Thank you very much. That was sweet. They called it blues.
The bass player in the background there, I like that.
Yeah. All right, once again, I'm Thor for President right here, www.com, thorforpresident.com on the internet. You can check it out and see what my ideas are for solving America's problems because, man, we are heading for a world of hurt, and if we let the Democrats take over the world, actually, get Bill Clinton in there as the UN Secretary General and Hillary can sit on the Supreme Court, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Well, we're on your website here right now, and there's all kinds of things that you have to say, and they all make sense to me. And maybe we ought to, read one of these, and you can comment on it.
Oh, sure. Pick anything out here. I'm prepared for anything on my website. I know it intimately.
Okay. I like the sound of this. Well, it's I've heard this before, but electile dysfunction.
Oh,
That's a catchy phrase, huh?
I think that was running around the internet for a while. My sister sends me all these things on the internet, and they're like, if you just applied all those things to one presidential candidate, and he actually enacted what makes sense out of all those things you see running around the internet, the conservative stuff with Barack standing with his arms folded or his hands in his pocket during the national anthem, and even Hillary's got her hand on her heart, and Bill Richardson, the obvious patriots. I don't know about Barack if he's a patriot or not. I really don't care, honestly.
You list some of the taxes that exist in the country today, and there's a whole bunch of them there.
Yeah, full page.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember what we were just talking about the break. Your analysis for people who get jobs, and like you're driving a truck or a school bus, or you want to work in the school system or do any kind of basic job. And not that those are basic jobs, or nowadays very difficult jobs, even driving trucks around. But I agree. Take a urine test. Make sure these people are not driving, under the influence of drugs. But the most important part to me is, what about the recipients of that person's wages? If that person driving a truck is paying taxes, and that money gets given to any one person for any reason, for welfare or disability or any type of thing, if that person cannot pass a urinalysis, why does he deserve my money or your money?
Right.
Does that make sense to you?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how this world is going, and just common sense has totally left politics. And that's the major problem, because these people have no common sense whatsoever. Some of the stuff Chuck Schumer was saying the other day, that if we started drilling in Anwar now, it'd be 10 years before we got our fuel, and it wouldn't make a drop in the bucket. Well, that's the right idea. Why don't we just go retrospect and just take away? Let's act like we took away 10 years of fuel production coming into our country, our oil coming into our country from other countries. Why don't we just do that? Would that make the same logic?
I hate that whole defeatist attitude.
Yeah, it's just insanity.
Why even try? Because we'll never accomplish it.
It's like abortion. Let's extrapolate. Okay, well, we'll go to partial birth abortion. Let the mother of this child kill the baby at a day before she has the baby. Doesn't that make sense? It's her body. She should be in control of it, right? What about if she just kills it a day after? Wouldn't that be the next most logical thing that a liberal would think of? Well, it's her body. She has to produce to keep that child alive. It's her milk. She's keeping that child alive, so let's give her the right to kill the baby even when the child's alive. Well, maybe let's extrapolate further. How about when the child's 9? It's still a pain in the rear end, right? To the mother that doesn't want the child, right? Let her kill it then. I mean, where does it end with liberals? They're just insane. They truly are. They make no logical sense whatsoever. Once again, as president, I would never try and get along with these people whatsoever. They expose themselves for their liberalism and their stupidity, and I would never do business with them unless they were to, of course, agree with common sense and just basic sanity when it comes to all these issues. And you can just take a look at San Francisco as a perfect example of liberalism run amok. Where's the New Orleans, again, another place where liberalism is run amok, and leaving those school buses there with a hurricane coming and everybody's stranded. We need more of that, don't we? That's what we need in politics. That will sure help the world.
Do you want to take a minute and address the fact that we are coming very close to election time and all that's involved with that?
Yes.
Any projections for the election?
Well, I am in the most frustrated situation of my whole life, as you folks are. You know that you're a conservative. You've behaved conservatively most of your life, or as you became older in life. And you realize that everything that we do and say and are is being belittled and be demeaned by the left, even
Mocked.
and mocked, even by our own people. And it is infuriating, and we have really nowhere to go except for John McCain as a presidential candidate. He's a wonderful man, a very honest man, a true American hero. I want that to be well known. And as Savage said earlier today, after the election, if he wins or loses, he'll still be an American hero. And it'll be quite embarrassing, honestly, to have either one of those two people having some sort of authority over John McCain, because he's earned it. But that being said, I do not believe that doing any bills with Ted Kennedy or Russ Feingold, these people are so far to the left, they are so extreme, and they want to force their extreme ideas upon us. And it's the ideas they want to force upon us that's so infuriating, because they don't do that. Some of them do in their own lives. You know, you've heard all the Kennedy things that he's done, and all the crazy partying and the women and all that stuff. Some of the people do live out their crazy liberalism in their own life, but they mostly don't live the life that they're talking about. They want to force those views upon us, which is the crazy part. That's the part that's infuriating. And we, of course, don't want to force our views upon us. We want to alleviate the government from forcing its views upon us.
Right.
And that's the whole point of a smaller government, is to get rid of the government forcing you in a box where you owe them 30% of the money that you earn. You are penalized by making more money. The more money you make, the more successful you are. Of course, trickles down into society in every aspect of your spending. If you spend $40,000 on a car, obviously you're helping out more people working on building cars than you are by buying a used car for $3,000, right? That car is already built. They want more people to be in the economy at a wealth stage. It's good for the economy. Hey, it's good for my economy. I'm not wealthy, but I work for people who have more money than me earlier today. And that's what the economy is all about. And of course, liberals want to penalize you for being successful. They say that, oh, if you can make 70, 80 grand a year, you have to pay more money than somebody working for 30 grand a year.
And that's going to take away a person's desire to
absolutely
be successful.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, just even corporations, you pay 35% corporate tax, and that's, why would you want to start a business in the United States? I mean, why wouldn't you start a business in Mexico or something like that if we're going to penalize our own industries and chase our own industries out of the United States? And that's another issue. I know we're in the computer age, and nowadays people know how to program computers and be publicists and do all kinds of, own a Starbucks and do all kinds of great things like that. But not every child that's born is going to work in a technical field, a service field. We have to maintain our mechanical base in life. We have to be able to build houses. We have to be able to work electricity. We have to be able to do plumbing. We have to be able to fix cars. We have to be able to build cars. We just can't go buying cars with a giant carbon footprint to get a car over here from Japan or wherever, or China now building all this stuff, and then destroy their environment because they have no environmental rules whatsoever, and then enslave them because we don't have slaves but they do. Enslave them to $1 a day wages or $1 a week wages, whatever ridiculous thing we've heard. I'm not for sure exactly what the wages are. And then say, oh yeah, well that's great for the economy. It is not good for the economy. It's a pyramid fantasy economy when you make a couple $1 billion on internet type of information. You're selling information. You make it. That is a false economy. It is not a true economy. We must make and produce things in the United States. Look at this microphone. This microphone is probably 60 years old, and there's not even a spot of rust on it. And it's made in America. There's no Chinese steel in it, and there's no Japanese wiring. That thing was made in America, and it is probably still a very high quality microphone too. That's the good thing about it. Things can last. And I was just looking at my a tire gauge the other day. I found one that looked like it was about 40 years old, and it still worked perfectly.
Works like a charm.
Yeah, and you buy one from Walmart, you won't even have it in a year. It'll fall apart. Hey, once again, Thor for President. www.thorforpresident.com, and we'll see you next time. We're going to check out here, and we'll be back in a few minutes to talk about all kinds of other subjects. And thank you very much. Woo! Listen to that swinging Hawaiian jazz music.